Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to King's Roundtable, the show where we talk about things and see what happens. I'm AJ.
I'm Joey.
And today's topic, video game nightmares.
Oof. I'm gonna let you start off with this because when we suggested this topic, you looked like you had something jump into your head.
There's a bunch, man. So we're not talking about video games that give us nightmares because they're scary. We're talking about video games that give us nightmares because they're bad. This could be, games that are hidden by nostalgia and things like that. So, that being said, guys, I'm going to jump right in here and bring up a survival horror game, kind of, called The Suffering. One of the biggest issues about The Suffering, now the storyline, don't get me wrong, was phenomenal. I love the storyline. It was weird, and it was good.
But the actual gameplay.
The gameplay was ahead of its time and needed to have some of the stuff that we have now. And the game came out like PS2.
Yeah.
Part of the problem, today, one of the games it reminds me of that is Prototype. Did you ever see that game?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were this guy named Torque. Prisoner. You escaped prison or something. I don't know. It's really hard for me to remember the precise storyline, but you end up turning into a beast. Like a monster. Whatever. The biggest problem in this game? Fucking inconsistency with everything. One of the biggest things, fall damage. And I mean, okay, great. Games have fall damage. We know that. Some games do, some games don't. Yeah. And that's totally fine, you know. But, so you could fall literally from one floor to another. Be totally fine. But if you literally jumped off the flight of stairs that was 4 stairs high, you'd die from fall damage. There was times, like, there's videos of The Suffering's worst glitches where people literally fell off a staircase and it's like you died. Didn't even hit the button, you died. It was like, wait, what? How? So, I mean, it's always a video game that gives me nightmares. There's some bad games out there.
It's one of the ones that I first thought of, and it's one that I haven't played since I was like 6 years old, do you remember Glover for the N64?
Yeah.
Oh my, the physics in that game are just...
Games hidden by nostalgia. I mean, honestly, so if you're new to my channel, I do play through Fridays. And the game that I just finished on Friday, it depends on when you're watching this and what we've done and when this gets uploaded, of course. I played Halo Combat Evolved.
How does it hold up?
No.
Oh, no.
It's so, like, there were times where I was dropping from, like, heights where you're like, okay, I'm fine, and then all of a sudden you hit the ground and you take that fall damage, and it's not just fall damage, your armor locks on you.
Oh.
So you can't move. And then the control schemes are not as good. It didn't feel as fluid as it did back in the day. Which, I mean, I understand kind of back in the day. That's what I was, like, hidden by nostalgia.
On that topic... We literally just bought, because my fiance was fantastic and got me an N64 for my birthday last year. We literally just bought 007 GoldenEye for it. Do you know how difficult it is to get used to a first-person shooter game when you're used to having the two analog sticks and now you're down to this?
Yeah.
It is damn near impossible.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So, guys, obviously, as I said in the intro video that we did for King's Roundtable about me have won awards for speedruns in video games. One of the biggest speedrun records I held for like the longest time was Resident Evil 2.
Yeah?
Yeah. So our buddy, a good friend of mine, actually has Resident Evil 2 for the N64, which is where I got this record, right?
Yeah.
So I looked at my buddy. I'm like, oh, dude, I gotta borrow that game. I gotta borrow it. Like, I haven't played this in forever. I haven't played an N64 in, like, forever. You know, I have to play this game. I got it. I couldn't even get past the, like, first 30 seconds of it. I couldn't do it. I fucking kept dying. Just death after death after death. I was like, what the fuck?
That's harsh, man.
I'm like, how is this even? Why? Like,
well, even stuff like Final Fantasy X, like the actual gameplay of the storyline is fine. It's if you've played one Final Fantasy game, you've played them all, you know how it works. But Final Fantasy X especially, they have that section where you have the option, if you want, to play the sport that runs throughout the game called Blitzball.
okay.
The controls for this sport, I don't know who the hell came up with this control schematic, but you need 3 hands to handle this fucking thing.
Do the good old Walshy claw. You're like,
It makes no sense.
I love you, Walshy, and if you're watching this, dude, I am in no way making fun of you, brother. But how the fuck did you, like, play video? I still... And people continually play video games like that. They've adapted to that style of video game, to that style of controls. And I'm like, Bumper Jumper! I play Bumper Jumper. It does the essential same thing, but I don't have to have double joint.
Well, like, you have games like Surgeon Sim and stuff like that where you have, like, separate buttons for, like, all your 10 fingers. Or, freaking I Am Bread. That is a rage game and a half when it comes to controls.
So controls are always a bad one. So I'm just gonna bring it up real quick, and we're not gonna talk about it very long. But I just want to know if you've ever seen or heard of it. Have you ever heard of Impossible Mario?
Yes, I have.
Oh my god!
I've never played it, but I have heard of it, and I've seen people attempt it, and it does not look like a fun time. You played it, didn't you?
I play it. I actually play it a lot when I get bored.
The thing is, it's supposed to piss you off, though.
Well, and that's the exact thing is like all of a sudden you jump and the ground from underneath you falls through.
Yeah.
Or random spikes. And I mean, the game loves to punish you. You have to, like, it's like within a pixel that you have to land on. It's crazy.
It's when it comes to, like, glitches and stuff, though, I find, like, N64 and, like, Sega Genesis era are where most of the problems stem from. Like, I don't know if it was the sequel or the threequel to the Turok games, but, like, it got to a point where, like, the map was so dense that it literally could not load. It would lag out until, like, you, as a character, became part of the map as it was panning around. It was insane.
So I'm gonna flip the script on you, and you talk about loading and stuff. I just wanna my Left 4 Dead. All right.
Oh no.
So have you played Left 4 Dead?
Yes, I have.
All right. So anybody that hasn't played Left 4 Dead, it's a multiplayer zombie survival game. It's great. I mean, it was the total. It brought us back to the couch multiplayer. And what I mean by that is the game is not all that fun where you're playing with friends online. But if you have 3 buddies there sitting with you playing it, and you're all in the same room together, and you've all, you've got the nuance, the lights are turned off and all that stuff, it is amazing. I had the disc copy, a hard copy of the game. Is what the kids call it nowadays, I guess. It's a hard copy.
Kids these days.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. No, but anyways, so, back when the 360, it could go on its side or lay completely flat. Yeah. Well, I always had mine laying on the side. Well, my mom moved it by accident one time when the CD was spinning in there. So, got the old Halo in it, the old Scratch Halo.
Yeah.
So, I was playing it with the Scratch Halo in it to see, just whatever. And what it did was it pixelated the zombies. So the whole map's fine. all the cinematics work and everything, but the zombies' bodies, or no, the zombies' heads were pixelated. So you had this, it was like a 4 to 8 block of just these random colors.
Yeah.
Well, better yet, all the specialty zombies' bodies were pixelated. Now, this can be really interesting until you realize you have this big fuck off blob of pixels running at you with a tiny little head as the tank comes rearing at you. Worse off, not even that, the witches in this game.
Oh, good lord.
Oh my god. It was like, so that was kind of a piss off. I mean, that'd give you nightmares. Especially any game that has the scratch in it. And I mean, talking about games, we have to relate it back to consoles too, right?
Yeah.
You know, nothing beats shit worse than having to blow in a game 30 billion times to try and get it to work back in the day. I mean, we're both older.
That was the olden days, though. Like, you had to work for your video game.
Yeah, it's like cartridge doesn't work, blow in it. Now we come to find out that in all reality that was really bad for the games, and
but the weird thing
have
is,
done that and this that, but it always worked.
Exactly, it worked. It probably didn't do anything, but fuck it, it worked.
It worked.
Same with smashing the Sega.
Yeah.
So there was that. The worst thing, the PlayStation 2 disc read errors. Because they were so constant. You just put a game in and you're like, please God work, please God work, please God work, please. Yes! Or, oh!
Yeah, because the Sony, game. Like, the PlayStation logo would come up, and, like, there was always, like, that 5-second pause of, like, please.
Yep.
Please.
Because
you
didn't know if it was going to work or not, right?
Yeah.
So, back in the day, you kids won't know anything about it now, probably, is there used to be stores, specialty stores, where you could rent video games from.
Still is where we live.
I mean, there's still a few out there, but not many. The biggest one being Blockbuster to close down.
Rest in peace.
Microplay was another big one that was great. But
and Netflix, before it was Netflix, did that too.
Yeah. Game Gear. There was a bunch of cool stuff that I'm sorry, all you, like, 9, 10, 12, 13-year-olds, you'll have no idea how cool it was to be a kid in the 90s. No idea. We used to do, like, back in the day, man, you could rent a game for a week, play it, be done with it, not have spent, $60 for it to sit on the shelf. Whereas now you just spend the $60 it sits on the shelf.
See, to me, the best thing was, like, you would go and you would pick out the game, you would bring it home, and you could, like, pick up from the last person who had its save file.
Oh, yeah.
So you were, like, helping each other through every game.
So back to games that give you nightmares. One of the worst games of all time, and it's highly considered one of the worst games of all time. And we will be doing more on select games, like talking about one game particular in episodes and stuff. This is actually gonna be one that we don't really talk about because I don't understand the hate for it, but Shaq Fu.
What?
Shaq Fu. Shaquille O'Neal had a fighting game.
Oh, dear Lord.
Did you not know that?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so it came out for the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo.
Okay.
It featured a ton of different characters.
So wait, was it like
Shaquille
Mike
O'Neal.
Tyson's Punch-Out but Shaq?
No. You wish it was like that, but it wasn't.
Oh God.
So Shaquille O'Neal is going to play a basketball game in Japan. And instead of making it to the basketball game, he gets teleported to this ancient realm where he has to fight in this Mortal Kombat like tournament with things like from Mortal Kombat.
As you do.
To try and get out. That's kind of how it went. There was like a part tiger, part human girl and stuff. Like it was
greenlit this game.
Shaquille O'Neal, bro.
I mean, I know in the early days of Nintendo, like, there were things that they let slide that they would never stand for nowadays, but still.
I actually have the game, to be truthfully honest. I own a copy of it.
We might have to play this and film it just so people can.
I quite enjoy the game myself. I don't know what other people are on about, but honestly, guys, these episodes are coming at you on a weekly basis or whatever. We will have tons of content for you guys, and we're really appreciative of it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, guys. Hit the bell icon next to it so you can always know when we're uploading a new video. This is King's Roundtable. I am going to be getting back into my other content as well, just to keep you guys informed. King's Roundtable is going to be a great show that we do together, and yeah. So, but it looks like we're out of time here, guys. So, I'm AJ.
And I'm Joey.
And that's all from all of us here. That's all we got now. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Live long, rock on.
Is there anybody out there?